Now, I will take the blame for that,
You taking the
JJ.
blame
Man,
for
what
it.
a
Lord
start to
have
this Friday
mercy.
morning. Lord, the JJ, as we get started, I unplugged it because the other day sound was coming through
Yeah.
during the beginning, so forgot to plug that back up. But as we're getting started here, we won't go through. We've already showed it a couple times. Jackie Joyner Kersey in 1992. JJ, she athlete considered. She is the American athlete considered by many to be the greatest female athlete ever to ever win the heptathlon, becoming the first person to win the event in consecutive games.
Well, I personally want to thank everybody in the comments section for letting us know of the audio difficulties. But
Mm.
I actually had some difficulties last night as well.
Yeah.
Well, Darryl,
Well,
what
hold
was?
on. We're not done yet.
Oh, we're not finished just
No,
yet.
no, we are not done yet.
Okay.
This is Wild Bill Hitchcock. In 1876, frontiersman Wild Bill Hitchcock was shot and killed while playing poker at a salon in Deadwood, Dakota Territory by Jack McCall, who was later hanged on August 2nd, 1923. The 29th president of the United States, Warren G. Harding, died in San Francisco. Vice President Calvin Coolidge later became president, also on August 2nd. So, big day in American history there, JJ. Now, the you was talking about messing up, and you said you had a difficult day. Tell us how your day started.
Well, actually, last night I had to deal with right before I went to bed. I went to the dollar store to pick up a couple of things, and whenever I got back, for some strange reason, I ended up running into my welcome home sign. And whenever I went to pick it up, I noticed that on the back of it, there was a giant wasp nest that had like over, 20 waspers that I had to, take care of. And my question to you is, have you had any issues with this summer? Or am I the only one that's had to deal with this? Because it seems like they've been everywhere, like all
Uh,
throughout the summer.
I'll be honest with you. I've not really. I've thought honestly. I told my wife that we was actually talking about that before. I've thought it's been a slow summer for wasp.
They've been everywhere for me. Every like wasp and yellow jackets, like at my
Huh.
mother's house, and at my apartment, obviously. We've had to deal with them all summer.
And that's something that we've not had issues with at all. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just been a slow summer, and when it comes to that on this side of the river, so I don't know. Maybe it's something in the area you're living
Maybe
in.
it's a West Virginia
Yeah, maybe that's
thing.
it.
Yeah, I'd say you're
Yeah.
probably right.
But celebrity birthdays.
Okay, we're gonna go with the first person we're gonna go with is Joanna Cassidy. The
Okay.
second person that we're gonna go with is James Baldwin. And then the third person, now this one's interesting. This is an individual by the name of Butch Vig. Now, what he's most famous for is he actually mixed the Nirvana Nevermind album.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's also a World Series. He also has a World Series of Poker bracelet, so he's a really good poker player as well.
Okay.
And then I got one more for you.
Uh-huh.
Do you by any chance happen to know who Wes Craven is?
I absolutely do.
Yeah, it's Wes Craven's birthday. The man that's best known for the Nightmare on Elm Street
Uh-huh.
franchise and the Scream franchise as well.
Well, in honor of that, I will. I'm gonna bring an article up here in just a second, but real quick on my Facebook birthdays, want to give a happy birthday to Gabe Varney. Mike Perry turns 71 years old today. Happy birthday, Mike. Brad Pack turns 40 years old today. Happy birthday, Brad. Dennis Hooker, do not know you, but happy birthday on my friends list. And Fletcher Long. Oh, and Chad and Cassie Blair turned 49 years old. Now,
Oh wow!
I don't know. That's my pastor.
Oh
So,
really?
yeah, so I don't know which one is their birthday because they got a joint Facebook, which I do not like JJ,
Hey,
but
I'm right there with you.
happy birthday to one of them. Now, in honor of Wes Craven, JJ, I'm gonna pop up, and this is a little surprise. Did not know that's what you that Wes Craven's birthday was today, but they ranked the 75 top horror films.
Of all time?
Nope, in the last decade.
Oh okay.
First, I'll give you number 75. I've not heard of many of these, believe it or not. The Babysitter,
I've heard that's a pretty good movie. It's on Netflix.
The Black Coat's Daughter,
I've heard that's a pretty good one.
I Trapped the Devil,
Never heard of that one.
All right, here's one I've heard of. The Mist,
Okay.
2007. I've heard of The Lighthouse. Now let's jump up. That was 75 down to 68. Now let's jump up to number 1 on the list, JJ.
Okay.
Let's go 1 through 10. See if you've heard of these. Kill List.
I don't think I've heard of Kill List.
It's a 2012 film.
Okay.
The 28 Days Later.
That's one of my all-time favorite scary movies. That was done so well.
The Welling.
I've never heard of that one.
The Witch.
That's a really good one. I think that came out in 2016.
Yep. Get Out.
Get Out was it actually won an Oscar. Interesting fact.
Hereditary.
Hereditary is another really good one.
The Babadook.
I've never seen The Babadook, but I've heard that's a really good one.
It Follows.
It Follows was a very good one as well.
His House.
Never heard of His House.
I have heard of this one. Black Swan.
Black Swan is a good psychological thriller.
Now, I'm just going through. Number 13 on the list was The Cabin in the Woods.
I never liked that one.
I liked it.
But it's highly regarded as a really good film, but I'm more of a straight slasher. Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers.
It was number 15 on the list. The remake of It. Mm-hmm. And The Invisible Man was 19. So you can find that list, guys, on USA Today. If you want to go through all 75, you can find them on there. But JJ, if anybody has questions, comments, or topics you would like us to talk about, call us on the Double Quick hotline at 606-230-8911. That's 606-230-8911. JJ, as we've run a little late because of time and other things, technical issues.
The first one was on me.
Yeah, the second one, I'll take blame for the second one. But as we're running a little late for time here, we're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get started and some controversy at the Olympics, JJ.
Here we go.
And then we also got some dangerous food items that's hitting stores near you. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show.
Started right here on this farm. We may have grown over the years, but we've never lost sight of what was important to us. We're continuing that tradition today, and we always will be for generations to come.
Walters Kia. By now you know Kia is a great vehicle, and you know they come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. So why should you buy from Bruce Walters Kia? At Bruce Walters Kia, we're going to change your oil for free for life. And what you do with that money you save is up to you. Come check out the 2022 Kia Carnival and the 2021 Kia Sorento. Only at Bruce Walters Kia in Pikeville. Or shop us online at brucewalterskia.com.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy. JJ, we got started good this segment.
We started out with a bang.
Yeah, I think people can hear us now. But we got a lot of comments coming in bright and early here, JJ, as we read through some of the comments. JJ, Jimmy Johnson says horror movies are terrible compared to the 80s and 90s.
I agree with that.
I could not agree more with you, Jimmy, as we also look. Matt Maynard says no sound. Jimmy Johnson says, come on, Darryl, you always forget to unmute it. Jimmy is one of our most important followers. So, Jimmy, I appreciate everything that you bring into the table and all the updates. Also, Jacob Rutherford says, oh, man, I had to deal with a bunch this year talking about Waspers. Matt Maynard said Yellow Jackets are everywhere this summer. So, JJ, it seems like you're not the only one that's had the issue.
I'm thankful that I'm not the only one, but it's been brutal. I'm not going to lie to you.
Guys, want to remind everybody, today's show is sponsored by Punk's Tires. If you're looking to buy tires, make sure you go see Jeremy Pinson and Chasta at Puck's Tires in Virgie, Kentucky. They will get your vehicle road ready. Call Jeremy Pinson. He knows tires. That's Puck's Tires at 606-639-TIRE. 606-639-TIRE. JJ, so you was talking about the today you're going to media day. Any chance that you'll be going over to Pond Creek? Belfry's media day is this morning.
Is it really?
Yep. Will you be going over there?
I may try to make it down there. I mean, I didn't know that, that was going to be on the schedule.
I didn't know until Jared McCormick told us yesterday that media day on Pond Creek was today.
Oh, wow.
So we'll decide. We'll try to, if JJ's able to, we may get JJ to go over to Pond Creek.
Yeah, I'll try my best to make it down there.
Yep. But JJ, I'll be going to EKU to watch some of the best basketball players.
So I've had a chance to see a couple of, the top players, but who's personally, like, do you have a top 20 that you can share with me? Like maybe some players that, I haven't had.
And where? In like region or coverage area?
Yeah, in the region or.
I'll tell you what, give me a segment or two to think about that.
Okay.
And after we have Ethan Cummings, I'll give you 20 names that you've got to watch here in the mountains.
And everybody needs to definitely tune in. And
can you give me that long?
I can give you that long.
All right. I'll try to compile a list for you there. Jimmy Johnson says, did you ever find, let's see. Let me bring it up here. It's Jimmy tuning in. Jimmy says, there we go. The Jimmy Johnson tuning in. He says, have you found the fitness? Planet Fitness will have a basketball court. We talked to somebody, Jimmy. I'm glad you seen that. Sorry, the logo was covering your comment. We talked to somebody, and they said that they was trying to, but they didn't know about the ceilings in it. They're waiting to have a contractor to come in and see if it's possible. So hopefully, we told them we would stop back by there. So we're going to try to give them about 2 weeks, and they're going to try to find an answer out for us. So we did stop, believe it or not, stop and check on that for you that day when we went through co-run. So, guys, as we're moving forward, JJ, Olympics right now. Listen, I told you yesterday, the Olympics this year, Paris, in my mind, has just handled the Olympics as worse as any city that you can. I do not. Well, it's not Paris. I'm gonna put it on the IOC. And Paris. I think them working together. The stuff with the drag queens and all that. And then now you got this transgender boxer. Now I'm kind of torn. As I read more into it, undoubtedly this person was born a woman.
Okay.
But they got more male traits than a woman. So their testosterone levels, but here's the thing. If the, what is it? The IBA, is that who was over it before? Yeah. The IBA was over boxing before in the Olympics, disqualified this boxer.
Uh-huh.
Why would the IOC let them box? And what transpired yesterday was really sad. Whenever you seen the Italian boxer Angelina Carani fall to her knees and give up because she said that she did not want to, she said, fight for her life, she said, or possibly die in the ring, she said, and that's what was happening. After she took a couple hits, 48 seconds into the match, she quit. Now, she was fighting for her father who passed away last week. Now, you imagine this girl trains her whole life for the Olympics. And then this. Shout out to Jake Paul. He said, this is the purest form of evil unfolding right before our eyes. A man was allowed to beat up a woman on a global stage, crushed her life's dream, and fighting for her deceased father makes it worse. Yeah. Now, if that don't make you a Jake Paul fan, what does? Speaking up after this. Yeah. And I tell you what makes you even more fan of him. Jake Paul reach out, and he's going to give her a chance. He said, since you didn't get to do it on the world stage in the Olympics, you can fight on one of his undercards, so the whole world can see your boxing talent.
Absolutely, and I think that's terrific. I mean, I think that might have been Logan. It's one of the two. I think that might have been Logan, actually.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah, but either
facts
way,
are optional.
But either way, giving them the platform to do that. I mean, it's like you said. So this individual was born a female, but she has multiple chromosomes.
Yep.
So I don't know what you do in a situation like that. I mean,
well, I'll tell you what you do. You just stay away from it and you don't let it happen, because here in America, we call that domestic violence.
Yeah, because in that case, it's like, I think they say like 1 out of every 1,000 or 2,000 people or something like that are born like that. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not a fan of it, but it's like,
no, the IOC, this does not help. There's 2 of them in boxing right now. You do not, if the IBA wouldn't take and clear these to the box, then the IOC shouldn't. And it just from the beginning, the stuff with the transgender stuff, and then the Dutch volleyball player accused of rape. Like, why have all these negative headlines? And then you had the Last Supper junk at the opening ceremony. Like, I've just, I've followed them. They've been some great stories, and we'll get to some of them. They've been some great stories that's come out of the Olympics. But, the negativity around the Olympics, and just the stuff that's going on, I don't know. It's just hard for me to really dig in and enjoy it. I watch it because I love the Olympics.
And the thing is, it's like these guys, they only get to compete once every 4 years. So it's like, are we really going to not watch these people that busted their butts for 4 years all over, some
no, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it. But hats off to is that, I don't know if that's Logan Paul. But as we move on, one of the good stories coming out yesterday, JJ, is this cool cat right here.
Oh man, this dude is probably my favorite guy in the Olympics. I can't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure he's from Turkey. And apparently this air shooting competition that he entered with all these other people, they had all of this advanced equipment that they will wear on their face to allow them to be more accurate with their aim. And this guy just comes in, with a pistol and his hand in his pocket and just a pair of regular prescription glasses and wins a silver medal.
Well, I tell you what, I wouldn't want to run into this cat on a dark alley.
Can I be honest with you? I think that I could be wrong, but I'm sure that his country was like, look, just don't win first place, make it competitive. We don't want to reveal who you really are. So you can compete, but just don't get first place, whatever you do.
I mean, this dude had his hand in his pocket the whole time.
I got to be honest with you. I think that, like, after watching all of these people and just watching him get second place with the way that he competed, I mean, I feel like it would be more fair if nobody used equipment. It's like, what do you need test how true your aim really is by, taking all of that equipment off and just doing it the natural way.
Fred Pinson says, put this guy in the ring with a real man. I would like to see that, Fred. That make sure you guys give us your comments, questions, because we definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts on this matter.
Absolutely.
Fred Pinson says, agree so much with the Paul brothers. Jimmy Johnson says, nice. It would be good for people in this area. Did you ever find out if Planet Fitness? Yeah, Jimmy, that's one thing. Well, I'll tell you later about a court that may be coming to the area that people can use. So I'll tell you a little bit about that in a little bit. But first, we want to bring on one of our favorite guests, JJ, and that is Ethan Cummings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Coach and athletic director at Jenkins. How you doing? Good morning, Ethan.
Good morning. How we doing, guys?
Good. How's things going over on Jenkins?
We're good. Trying to get the year started. Spending a lot of time getting geared up and get schedules finished. Now we're ready to get started on Wednesday.
So y'all school starts Wednesday?
Yes, we start Wednesday.
Okay. They a lot of the schools in the area start on Wednesday, on August 7th. I know Pike County does, and then some of them don't start until like the 26th. And I was always a fan, definitely, starting earlier, especially if you're a football coach or a basketball coach. A basketball coach, I think it benefits them to start school early because when you're in the summer, you can't make sure that kids are at workouts and that they're doing the stuff, they're at weight training and stuff like that, because you can't control them because it's summer. Well, when school starts, that's a lot easier. So you get the schools that start earlier, they get their players in there 25 days earlier than what other schools, and I think that's a big advantage.
Most definitely, it really is. But you can, and you already know this, but you can see a big difference in the ones who do work in the summer.
100%.
So my advice to kids that are listening this morning is, even if a coach ain't on top of you work out, make sure you're doing it.
Ethan, one of my favorite quotes is, "There's going to come a time when winter tells you what you done all summer."
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite quotes. But Ethan, wanted to bring you on. Talk a little bit about everything going on. Right now, I hear y'all had a girls coach step down.
We did. We had our high school girls coach, Paul Whitaker. He had to resign a few days ago due to health reasons, and that he's having to deal with. So it was something that he couldn't help. It's a unfortunate situation, but we're in the process of trying to find a replacement, and there's no doubt in my mind that we won't find the right hire for the job. It's a good program to be in,
So people that's interested in getting into the coaching ranks, they can come put applications in through Jenkins Independent.
Yes, you can reach out to me or Ashley Addington to put an application in and come in and sit down and discuss it with us.
Well, the intriguing thing about you, and you get to work under one of the best superintendents in the business. How is it working with Damian Johnson every day?
It's great. I couldn't. I tell people all the time, I couldn't ask for a better superintendent. He before I even got into administration, the administration here alone is great. I mean, I've never seen an administration that has a coach's back the way ours do here. So I mean, just the way that he goes about things, and as long as you're doing the right thing, he'll always be in your corner through the good and the bad. So I mean, and to see how, I tell people this too, is like, how often do you see a superintendent on a hillside cutting weeds?
Yeah.
Or yeah, on a ladder putting lights in, like that's the kind of guy he is. He's hands on. Like if he expects us to do it, he's going to do it with us, and so that's one great thing about him too.
I know it was, I think 2 years ago, he spent the entire summer up there tearing down the old bleachers. Him and his dad, rest in peace, spent the entire summer remodeling that gym with their hands so them kids could have a better gym and a better opportunity. So, that's the kind of man Damian Johnson is. Now, Ethan, as you go on, you're one of the top young coaches in the game. I always say you, Corey Thacker, Chase Parsley, Trevor Noble, Cameron Smith. If I'm missing any, please forgive me. But, y'all are some of the hottest young names in the coaching world. You've held on over there at Jenkins. You've even stepped down and coached middle school. You coach the high school level in AAU, but you've stepped down to the middle school level. Because y'all have a head coach. Just talk about what keeps you. I know you've had a lot of schools try to draw you out of there. What keeps you at Jenkins?
Well,
special.
For one, I graduated from here, so that's a big key, and everybody has been good to me. But I'm going to be honest with you, and it's the main reason why why I focus more on the middle school is that when I started here, we didn't have a middle school coach, so I was kind of doing JV, freshman, and middle school. Like for 2 years straight, I coached 3 teams in the same season. Um, and I connected this group of 8th graders that I'm going to have this year. I've had them since 5th grade. And there's just that special connection there with them that and that I want to see through before taking that next step of leaving middle school for good. So uh, I'm just really connected to those 8th graders. And what keeps me grounded at Jenkins a lot is, they've given me opportunity after opportunity, um, and I can't thank them enough for everything they gave me. And so I'm a very loyal person. If you're good to me, I'm going to be good to you. And
Now,
that's just how I am.
Now, when you take look as you got hired as athletic director last year, and one of the first things y'all done was bring football back. How's the state of the football program? Are y'all continuing it this year? Or?
Yes. So the state of the football program is great. We should have a successful high school season. We've got a very good schedule there. Our middle school team has been put back together too. I kind of had to take the reins on that because we couldn't find a coach for it last year. So I had to coach football last year, which I'm not a football coach, but we had a season.
Yeah. You got through it.
And one great thing, we finally found a good middle school coach, and he's really energetic. He's from Elkhorn. His name's Jordan Staniford. He's great. But the first thing he did, and this is what I loved about him, is he started a Pee Wee program, and we've got I think he's got 16 3rd and 4th graders out just for Pee Wee alone.
Okay.
So that right there shows you that right there is how you build a program. You can't start in high school and expect to keep it going. You have to start from your elementary and build all the way up and let the kids just continue to feed into the program. And so that's kind of what we've done with football. And I think, we're still going to take our lumps. We're not world beaters yet, but I think eventually that the more it grows, and if we can keep the consistency with the coaching and keep the kids interested in football, then I think that the program will continue to grow.
All right, JJ.
Ethan, man, it's really nice to meet you. So Darryl told me that you're one of the younger coaches that's coming up. How old are you exactly?
I'm 23. I turned 24 in September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got started really early. So can you tell me
He's a couple days out of diapers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell me some of the coaches that have modeled your game after, or some people that you may have had taken you under their wing? Like, do you have anybody specifically that inspired you?
Well, I'll tell you what really inspired me, and you'll probably laugh, is I watched Coach Carter so many times when I was in high school. I could about quote the movie for you. So he is definitely a role model for me. But I'm a huge Louisville fan. So Rick Pitino is always, I love Rick Pitino.
All right, we've had enough of you, Ethan. We'll see you next time.
But then, as far as my personal experience, I've always had the pleasure of sitting under Coach Lee. I started at Whitesburg when I was 18, straight out of high school coaching, and I had the chance to work with him in Letcher County and Coach Isaac. And then I come to Jenkins, and me and Coach Lee come the same year. So I was able to coach, have a bigger role in coaching with him over here, and having to run 3 programs. And so he's been a big help, and so has Coach Tex Isaac, and all my assistants along the way have been great. I've had tremendous staffs that I couldn't ask. I really couldn't ask for any better staffs than what I've had. So I've been blessed.
That's really good. So what region are you in?
Well, we're in the 14th region now. We used to be in the 15th.
Okay. And who were some of your rivals? Like, do you have any games that you're looking forward to this season?
Well, middle school wise, we always look forward to the Whitesburg Neon rival, and especially Dorton. Ever since I've been here, us and Dorton's built a big rivalry. And then as far as high school goes, our high school teams should be one of the top teams in the district this year, and Letcher Central, crosstown rival. We've got them in high school, so that'll be a big time game too.
So, if you could think of one thing specifically that you might need to do to get your team over the hump to be a legit contender for your region, what would it be, or do you think that you guys are already there?
Well, I can speak on high school. It's just as far as high school goes, to be a top contender in the region, it's really just work ethic because the talent, the size is there. I mean, this team has Coach Lee kind of started with this team when they were freshmen, the same way I started with these eighth graders I've got. That was fifth grade. So. They've got all the tools necessary to make a good push at region, especially where we added the big man starter from Letcher, Cameron Hayes, this year. He was a big add. And we also added Kel Owens from Virginia to add to the group already. So, I mean, I think that the one thing keeping them from getting over the hump is probably, durability, I would say, in practice, pushing. They need to push themselves a little bit harder. But everything else, I feel like's there, and I feel like they're going to make a good push. As far as my middle school goes, I think that for us to be able to win in our district and go to state and compete this year, uh, we've got to trust each other a little more. We've got one or two players on my middle school team that stick out and don't want to trust the others, and so. But we're working on that.
And I think you're going to get it done. So, you are the middle school coach and the high school coach as well?
He's assistant
Oh,
on the high school.
Assistant in the high school? Okay. Well, that's really, so you got your hand in like the high school and the middle school level. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yep. Jacob Rutherford says great young coaches coming up in our area. Ethan's one of them. So, Ethan, I'm gonna ask you a tough question here.
Okay.
A couple years ago, well, it started a couple years ago. You was one of the integral parts of Jenkins basketball being where it's at. And Winston. He's the mastermind. But you really helped him as far as drawing talent to Jenkins. You a lot of it's with your AAU program. You grow relationships with these kids. And you're a good promoter of Jenkins and let people know what Jenkins offers, which draws kids there. And y'all have become where Dorton had become one of y'all's biggest feeders.
Yeah.
Do you think the move to the 14th region will hurt y'all any in the, drawing the Dorton kids like y'all had been the last couple of years?
Well, I can tell you that it hasn't yet. I do. That is a tough question because you look at it and you're like, so if we're still in the 15th region, the Dorton kids are thinking, well, I'm still going to have to play my buddy at Valley, or we're going to have to go play Pikeville. So I don't think it'll hurt us too bad because they can kind of, when a kid's transfer, like if they're like from Dorton where they would go to Shelby Valley, they're transferring for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So if they transfer over here, they're not going to want to play the team that they would have been on against the coach they would have been playing for 9 times out of 10. Now, some kids don't care. We've had luck in both situations. So I personally, I think if anything, it helps us in that aspect. And because a lot of people know, and this is no secret that we're more competitive in the 14th. The 14th is a weaker region than the 15th. So in my opinion, I may be wrong about that, but in my opinion, so
no, you're spot on that.
So yeah, I don't think it'll hurt us. I think it'll only help us with Dorton. Now, one thing it will hurt us on is with the Letcher County kids having to play Letcher Central. I think that'll put a damper on us getting a few of those, but that's still unknown. We ended up pulling Cameron Hayes this year from Letcher Central, and it didn't hurt us with him, but you never know. Kids are different.
Well, I think the good part is y'all going to the 14th. Like I guess it can help and it can hurt. Because where it helps is the kids that's coming from Dorton. Y'all get a lot of the kids that are kids that may need some developing, or maybe like the third, fourth, fifth guy on the Dorton roster that don't want to go to Shelby Valley and set, for 2 or 3 years. They can come to Jenkins, be developed, get that experience early, and start playing right away. And, they get to compete in a different region, to where they're not going to have to go compete against their teammates. I do see that being a huge help, there. But, you also, a lot of kids, the 15th region, they grow up as in the school, going to the region tournament, watching Shelby Valley, Pikeville, all them schools, and they always want to play in the 15th region. So I could see it hurting in that aspect that, these kids want to play in with the schools that they grew up watching. But as we move on, Jacob Ruford says, "Are you guys a fan of the All-A tournament in Kentucky?" The All-A, I like the All-A myself. I'm not a fan of the 2A. I know there's talks about the 3A tournament. I do not like that, because if you're going to go that far, if you're going to go up to 3A, then you might as well just go to the class system. But the All-A, I think the All-A is important. I don't know about you, Ethan, but I think it's important because it gives smaller schools an opportunity to compete for a state title. As we know, a lot of the small schools in this area, think Paintsville and Shelby Valley, oddly enough, are two of the smaller schools that won state titles in recent history, here in the mountains. So, but it gives you an opportunity to compete for a state title, to where normally you're not going down, and you don't want to take the Sweet 16 out of Kentucky, because it's the greatest show in athletics in my mind. So, I think it's a good median, but I wish they would have stopped at the All-A. I don't like the 2A.
My personal opinion is, I love the All-A and I love the way it's set up, but I don't think the All-A is really All-A. It's really not just small schools.
Belfry is 3A, and Belfry competes in Belfry when Jenkins dropped out of the went back to the 14th. Belfry got Jenkins' spot in the All-A.
Yeah. And see, that's what makes the All-A not the All-A, is because it's not fair for these small schools to, you can't compete, and so it just makes it another in-season tournament. You might as well let the whole region in at this point, and the way they've got it set up. If you want to do a single A tournament, then it should just be single A teams, whether it's a 4-team, 6-team, it'll make, but it's not that way. It's not set up that way, and that's the only thing I have against the All-A. Outside of that, I do think it gives mountain teams a chance to compete. I just wish it was truly a single A tournament.
Yeah, I do too. I see that, and but I guess I don't know. I like it, but I do wish that it was done right, and it was true single A teams. But I mean, let's call it what it is. Even if you're quote a single A team, there's ways around that. I mean, you telling me that Pikeville High School is a single A team? Not even close. So, I mean, they feel more people than, when you roll out more people in football than what Belfry does, you're not a single A school, and, I think no matter what, there's going to be ways around it. But rules are there to be broken, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always say. If you ain't breaking them, you ain't trying.
You're not trying, absolutely.
Yeah, but as you're moving on, I got to agree with Stephen Breeding here. He says Jenkins High School team is going to make some noise this year. Keep a lookout for that team. Got a great group of players. So as you sit here and look, I got a chance to watch y'all a couple times this summer. Right now, oddly enough, I think I got y'all ranked 5th in the 14th. That's as high as Jenkins probably come in probably 3-4 decades. has ever come into the season ranked 5th. You know, I think Hazard's 1, Breathitt's 2, Perry's 3, Knox 4, and y'all are 5th in my book. How do you see it?
Yeah, you know, I definitely see us in the top 5. One thing that I don't like doing as a coach is overhyping any team, because anything can happen. I love to still be the underdog story. But, you know, to what he said in the comment, you know, they do have potential to make noise. They do have potential to make a run. But, you know, anything can happen. So we just, you know, we've got to continue to work hard and stay on edge. And this is nothing that Coach Lee wouldn't sit here and say. You know, I've worked with him for 7 years. I feel like I could about speak for him on this aspect.
Well, and you know that I don't know. I mean, I've watched y'all. I think y'all are very competitive right now. I think, you know, well, I mean, I tell you, we basically played y'all's team once this year with our D&D Mountain Elite team.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got some of the best seniors in the area, and, you know, y'all even beat us once. You know, I will say with officials that Ethan pays, but
Did you get ejected that game?
I did get ejected that game, didn't I, Ethan? Ethan's actually had to save me a couple times.
It's okay. It's what I'm here for.
But you know, we got Jacob Ruford says, looks like Belfry's basketball team might be making some noise this year too. Ethan, when you know the 14th and 15th region as much as any, you know, you and Sam Collier do the coaches corner, which will be coming back out soon. You know, when you talk 14th, 15th region, who are your top 5 players in each region?
Oh Lord. Well, 14th, you know, number 1's easy. You know, Austin Sperry, I think is the best player in the 14th region.
I disagree.
Really?
I disagree.
Who do you think's the best player in the 14th?
I think, well, I'm not going to say best prospect is Austin Sperry. Best player is Evan Eversole.
Yeah, that's 2 different positions. But I would put him. He would be in my top 5. I don't know that I would put him being better than Sperry, but he would be in my top 5. For sure.
I just think he can guard 5 positions. He can play 5 positions. You know, the kid, he's diving on floors after loose balls. I mean, he's a true veteran. He's a leader. You know, I like everything the kid brings to the table. You know, but you know, it is 1A, 1B with Sperry, though. I mean, like you can argue either one. Both of them are outstanding.
Yeah. Well, another kid too that would be on that list for me would be Seth Cottle, 14th.
Yes.
Too. He's another Hazard kid he's a very nice player, and you know, they also got Ridge Beverly. You know, Ridge didn't get to play much last year. But I mean, if Ridge comes back to the Ridge we've seen before, you know, that's 3 top tier players on one team. That's going to be tough.
You see, your head coach, he knows a little thing or two about basketball. He agrees with me on Eversole.
Coach, you're supposed to have my back here. Come on. What are you doing?
But now, as you sit here, you know, I would go Eversole, Sperry, I think, are the clear 1-2s. Then, you know, in my mind, I think you got Seth. Well, Seth Cottle's definitely up there. I like Drake Sloan. Also, Trayton Woods. Got to be mentioned. You know, man, Breathitt, they got a couple. And then, you know, there for Hazard, Dalton Combs has had a huge summer. You know, I would. He's probably the sneaky one I would put up there. And then, you know, I always got to go for my guy, Aiden Hayes, you know, for the Jenkins Cavaliers. You know, Aiden, one of my favorite guys. And if Aiden really wanted to, Aiden could be a top 3 player in that region.
Most definitely. And the way he's been working here lately at practices and things, from what we've seen, he has potential to be there this year.
Yeah, he spent time with us on our D&D team, and he's a joy to coach. I love him. With his, he's a forward that possesses guard skills at times, and if he really gets in the gym, works on that outside game, I think Aiden could be special. But now move over to the 15th. You moved out of the 15th, but you probably know the 15th better than you do the 14th.
I probably do.
Give us your top 5 in the 15th.
Okay. You're probably going to disagree with me on this, but I like Jalen Rigdon at 1. Not Jalen Rigdon, Jaden Stewart. Jaden Stewart, sorry. Said that wrong. I like Jaden Stewart at 1. Then it starts to get tricky, man, because there's the hard part about the 15th, and I'll say this, is that there's, and it's same thing with the 14th too. There's so much talent, guys. There's so much like individual talent. I would say you'd have to put, Braxton Keithley in there. You'd have to put, I like, I'm a big fan of, and a lot of people, we don't really get to talk about him a lot. He just transferred to Pikeville. I'm a big fan of Jackson Keene. I'm a big fan of Jackson Estridge. I think those guys are guys that should be mentioned in there. And then Martin County has a kid who just transferred there. What's his name? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yes, he would probably be in the top 5. I don't want to put them in any certain order, but I will say I think that Jaden Stewart, probably gets the nod for number 1. But the names I mentioned are some top 5 guys that I would consider to be in that group.
Yeah, it's well, JJ put me on the spot. He asked me 20 of the top players to know. So as soon as we get off the interview with you here next segment, I'm going to give JJ, I guess, 20 players that he's got to watch in the 15th region. But as you're sitting here, a lot of mix up. Let me ask you this. We'll keep you about 5 more minutes here. Transfers. What's your thoughts on transfers these days? A lot of people don't like it. Where are you at with the transfer world?
I'm fine with it. I think the state should go ahead and pass that one-time transfer law that, I think West Virginia adopted. I think that kids need the opportunity. They want the opportunity to try something, like, say, like there's a kid that, I'll use Dorton because we've already discussed Dorton, a kid that wants to pass Dorton, go past Dorton and wants to try it at Shelby Valley. Sure, you go try it. You don't get a lot of playing time or you don't like it, then you want to transfer. I see nothing wrong with that. So I mean, I'm not against transfers at all. I think it's good for the game, and I think that's where everything's going. We're not in the time anymore of staying home and what most people would say staying loyal and building. You're in a time to where it's, these kids and these parents are looking out for what's best for them. What's best for their kid. And to me, you can't blame a parent nor a kid for looking out for themselves, because in the same person who's going to hate on the kid for leaving is the same person who would do it to themselves if they could. Yeah. So I have nothing against transfers. I'm all for it, especially if it's for the right situation. Now, one thing I am against is seeing a kid transfer to sit on the bench for 3 years. Like, why are you going to transfer to sit on the bench? Most of the time you transfer to play, you don't transfer to sit. So,
well, normally you do. And I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. Like, listen, a lot of people say Pikeville. Why does kids transfer there, sit 2 or 3 years, and then, only get to play a year or two of high school? Well, I'll just be honest with you. If at that age, if, say, as a freshman, if my son was good enough to play at Pikeville, my son would have been at Pikeville. And it's not just because of athletics. It's the stuff off the court that they offer, academics. When you take a look, Pikeville produces so many successful citizens, and, whatever they're doing there, they're doing right, and then you take the facilities into it, they just got things going on there, but, it's all into the kid. Does the kid want to go sit a few years, or do they want to play right away, is how I look at it. But let me ask you this. Last 5 years, who's the best player to come out of the mountains?
Oh, Lord. In the last 5 years? So that would have
Yeah.
been since 2019. That's tough. I don't know. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm going to go back further than 5 years. I'm moving your question. I'm going to say Whitney Creech.
Oh, yeah, take an easy political way. You running
Go
for
back to
mayor in
2015.
Jenkins. Yeah, you running for mayor?
Am I running for mayor? No, not yet. Not yet. Anyways, watch out.
I'll give you the answer. It's not the easy answer, but it is the answer. Kean Works.
Yeah.
Kean Works is the best player in the last 5 years. He was the biggest mismatch problem at 5'8", 5'9". You know, that kid, he understands the game. You know, his competitive nature. You know, he has that chip on his shoulder, that little man syndrome. You know, like Kean is by far the most special talent that I've covered in the last 5 years.
Yeah. I think what separated Kim was really his work ethic from everybody else. You know, he just worked so hard. But I'll tell you another name he made me think about that was also in the 15th region and played for JJ is Brady Dingus. He was another stud that come out in the last five years. He was right there with Kean and them, wasn't he?
Brady Dingus is definitely there. Yeah, you got Riley Salmons, Division I. You know, when you talk Division I kids in the D&D area, you got Trey James, Riley Salmons, White Battle.
Don't forget Wade Pelfrey from Hazard.
Yeah, Wade Pelfrey. Then he's at UPike now.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, just recently went. Tiffany and Randall Mullins says, my son graduated from a high school with no college offers and used COVID holdback year and transferred to Pikeville and had 20 college visits. And I can't count the offers just by going to Pikeville. They done so much for him at Pikeville. No other coach done. So, you know, that's a great example. You know, Elijah really helped Kean out, you know, and, you know, the big thing, you know, Kean got on a big stage. I mean, listen, we all seen at Rupp Arena what Kean done to Reed Shepherd. You know, I mean, he put Reed Shepherd on skates, and you know, now I will say, you know, that was Reed's first trip. He had the weight of the world. You could clearly see he was nervous, but still, you know, Kean. That year was my favorite year, I think, in basketball that I've covered. That Pikeville team. That one, and then the 2019 Chapmanville team with Obina and them are the two best teams that I've covered.
Yeah, that Pikeville team, what was so great about them was they were just so they were so veteran and well-rounded and well-seasoned. You know, that was probably one of the more veteran teams to come out of this area in a long time. And so it was I got to be down there and watch those games too, and it was just so great to see the way they played.
You have Works. You had Lathan Hall, Nick Robinson, Riley Salmons. Trying to think who the other.
Lucas Mans.
Yeah, Lucas Mans. He was come off the bench. I can't remember who the other starter was. Somebody let us know. I know it's right there, but I'm just slipping it or forgetting it. But you know, anyways, Carl Whitey Little says Works and Salmons are the two best in his mind. You know, and Riley, we didn't get to see a ton of Riley because of his injuries. You know, we didn't get to see a ton of what Riley can do. I think Riley right now is in his prime in college, you know, and, you know, it's really because he's healthy, you know, so, but, you know, I'm trying to think if they're, well, I take that back. You know, I said Kean, but going back 5 years, I'm going to change my answer. Kean is 1B. 1A is Obina. You know, Obina was a different animal. You know, he's playing at Marshall right now, dominant. You know, so it would be Obina, Kean, then 3 maybe David Early. You know, I'd have to really think about that. But Jimmy Johnson says the best team ever in the 15th region and one of the best ever in the history of Kentucky high school basketball was the 1996 state champion Paintsville Tigers. And I could not agree more, Jimmy. You know, that Paintsville team with Todd Tackett, J.R. Van Hoos, Craig Ratliff, I mean, that was a squad, you know. And I tell you, if you're a fan of that Paintsville team, Jimmy, wait till you watch Martin County. Parker Watts is the best athlete I've seen since Todd Tackett, you know, and that's giving him a lot of praise. But Ethan, it is 9:10. We got to let you go. We got the rest of the show to do. I appreciate you coming on, and I'd like to bring you on, you know, next week or the week after, bring you on again, talk a little more with you. That sound like a deal?
Sounds great. I appreciate you guys having me on this morning.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
See you.
JJ, one of the best. Yeah, I'm honestly honored to call him a friend.
Yeah, he seems like a very well-spoken kid, and I think that he has a very bright future ahead of him. And I love that he's involved with not only high school but middle school as well. Yep. So these kids he's developing, like as soon as they go into high school, they're gonna be like, well, I already know this face, you know, I'm gonna
we still got a lot of show to go over, JJ, so we're gonna take a commercial break. We'll be right back. And JJ has forced me into giving my top 20 kids in the 15th region. We'll be right back here on the Startup Morning Show.
Incorporated Little Flower Clinic announcing help needed. We're seeking donations of gift cards to help us make a difference for our homeless and at-risk patients. Gift cards will be used for new clothing, new underwear, and personal hygiene items. If you're interested in helping, please contact us. Call Kendra Cole at 606-487-9505, extension 342, or mail your gift cards to Little Flower Clinic, 279 East Main Street, Hazard, Kentucky, 41701.
Oceana Discount Tobacco today. Nobody can beat Oceana Discount Tobacco's great prices or their great services. You're treated like family from the second you walk through the door. We want to thank Oceana Discount Tobacco for sponsoring today's events. Go follow them on Facebook. Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy, you're watching the Mountain's #1 leader in sporting news, the D&D Sports Network. This segment is sponsored by our good friends at Kemper Furniture. Kemper Furniture, located in Hazard, Kentucky, the most infamous building in Hazard. When you go, you see that Kemper Furniture building on the side of the mountain, you cannot help but notice it.
The next time I need a couch, I'm definitely going there.
There you go. The Kemper Furniture, go see them today. Thomas Kemper, good friend that will take care of you. Sam Collier says Cody Potter and Cameron Warts was a good team at Valley in 2019. They was a really good team. And they also had, Kean was on that team. And then they had the Foggy Mountain Sniper. Probably my favorite nickname ever was on two favorite nicknames. You had the Foggy Mountain Sniper, Caden Robinson. Then you also had the baby-faced assassin, Kean Warts.
I like the Foggy. Did you say the Foggy face?
Foggy Mountain Sniper.
Foggy Mountain. I like that.
Yeah. So we see Jacob Rutherford says, not trying to interrupt, but thank God it's football season. Yes, sir. We start our football season previews coming out today on the website. We will be putting them on social media as well. So make sure that you guys follow that. Bradley will be on top of all the previews. JJ will be at Media Day. So we have a lot of football coming your way, guys.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, we're stoked too. Something about Friday nights in the mountains are special, JJ.
Yeah.
So as we move on here, guys, JJ asked me before we went to break. He said, "Can you give me some names to follow?" And I said, "How many?" He said, 20. JJ, that's hard. That's hard, but I'll try. I'll try to do it for you.
I think if anybody's capable of doing it, it's going to be you. You seem to know all the
let me
players.
ask you this.
Okay.
From your time at D&D, you've only been here, what, a month?
Mhm.
Okay. Tell me the names that you know.
Let's see. Obviously,
Give me 5 that you think are the names to watch.
I'm going to go with Parker Watts. I'm going to go with Jaden. I'm going to go with Jackson, of course. Jackson, I think he's the best two-way player that I've seen so far. I'm going to go with Peyton Davis. I'm going to go with him. And this other kid, I think he's from Boyd County, the Spurlock.
Yes.
Yeah,
yep.
He's a straight-up sniper.
But he's not in the region.
He's not in the region.
Yeah.
Oh,
man. But I'll give you a pass because I can tell you're coming down. I don't know if you've met anymore. I don't know.
I like the kid that we interviewed, the Connor kid. I like him too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to be a top player because I don't know all the other players, but he's going to be my favorite player to watch.
If you was to ask me, and I'm not going to put it in any order right now, but I would say Parker Watts, Braxton Keithley, Jaden Stewart, Austin Sloan, Jackson Estridge, Peyton Davis, Chris Briggs, Carter Parsons, Ian Oxt, E.B. Walters, Tyler Weddington, Walker Russell, Cameron Pente, Gunnar Woods, Hayden Perry, Zaid Rash, Brody Little, Devin Maynard, Sykes and King at Pikeville. Jake Sloan ain't in the region anymore. I'm gonna go Anderson Loffer and Brock Woods from Paintsville. Really like them too. But I guess those. If you ask me, 20, and then definitely Connor. I'll put Connor in there as my last one.
Yeah, I like Connor.
That sound good?
Yeah.
Those are 20 names you need to keep an eye on.
I only remember about 9 of them, but I will definitely get a list, and I'll get to cover all of these people this season. Oh, I'm excited.
And then we'll go through 14th and 16th on another day.
Right.
In West Virginia, I'll give you quick: Kendon Trent, Braden Ferris, Ashton Davis.
What about that Hatfield kid?
Matt Hatfield. You can really take 4 of Logan's. By the way, Mark Hatcher will be back on Tuesday with us. And you got Zayden Sherrod, you got McCormick Ilderton, who I think is the dark horse, and then you got Dakota Dalton, 8th grader coming up, freshman, going to be spectacular at Chapmanville.
True freshman.
Yeah, true freshman. Then Joey Gollihue. And then Chapmanville got a big stud transfer in too.
Did it really?
Yeah, Big Dave. Keep an eye on him.
What about some of them Tug Valley boys?
I just mentioned Braden, Ashton.
Okay, those are all Tug Valley kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think that would be about it in West Virginia. I know I'm probably forgetting somebody. Please forgive. Oh, West Side, Caden Vance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got Bishop and Blankenship as well there.
Which the Vance kid, he's the one that was a 3-sport athlete.
Yep.
Yeah, so he'll be good to watch for and everything.
Yeah, and then so that's just a few of them there. But but JJ, as we move on, guys, do you buy cinnamon sugar, JJ?
No.
You don't buy ground cinnamon, cinnamon sugar. You don't buy any of that. You don't do any cooking with that.
Never tried it.
Well, I'll tell you this. Right now, the FDA is issuing an alert. This is their third alert on this, JJ. So right now, ground cinnamon, FDA, third alert. This ground cinnamon, they're warning people that ground cinnamon's sold at your cheaper stores. You know,
Like the dollar stores and stuff.
The Dollar Tree, Euro Grocery, the Patel Brothers, them 3 stores in particular. And here are the brands that you got to watch for: El Choir, Markham, SWAD, Supreme Traditions, Campania, Indilier Oriental, ALB Flavor, Shazada, Spice Class, La Fronteria, and Muhammad. Those are all cinnamon that you got to watch for. They are actually saying there's leg counts that could kill people in them. So yes, so if you buy about any ground cinnamon from the Dollar Tree, Patel Brothers, or Euro Grocery, please make sure that you go look at the brand, and you can look it up on the internet or you can message us and we'll get the brands out to you. But you definitely got to watch out for that. And they said, especially for babies, the leg counts could be severe. Yeah.
Jesus, trying to kill everybody.
Yeah. So big shout out there to FDA taking care of us, JJ. JJ got a lawsuit. You want to hear about a lawsuit?
Of course.
All right.
What kind of lawsuit we got going on today?
Do you know who this cat is?
I'm not 100% sure right off.
It is Don Lemon, CNN anchor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he is suing Elon Musk. Elon Musk cut a deal with him. He used his image because Elon Musk, when he bought X, which is Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, they went through a rebranding process, and he lost a lot of his sponsors, a lot of advertisers. Well, he cut a deal with Don Lemon, I think Jim Rome, and somebody else. I forgot who the other person was. It was another news anchor, but to help bring advertisers back. Well, he ended up, when it come time to pay the $1.5 million that he agreed, he told Don Lemon pretty much to kick rocks, Don said. And now Don Lemon is suing him, and saying that he wants stock in X because he was done wrong, and he ended up losing his job at CNN partly because of the partnership with Elon Musk.
Come on now. I mean, stock in Twitter?
Yep.
That may be asking a little too much, because I can imagine what Twitter is worth right now.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, also, JJ, I want to ask you this. We got a couple biopics coming out.
Okay.
You tell me which one that you are more intrigued in watching.
The Michael Jackson one.
That's
not even a question. Like, yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about that one.
I didn't even know there was a Michael Jackson biopic.
What?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, you told me that.
Yeah. Next year.
But that's not in part of this. Okay. Britney Spears. Spears. They reached a deal where Britney Spears, I think it's Universal, ended up winning the bid to do her biopic. Now, you talking about, it's going to be neat to see exactly the truth of everything that went on. And I could tell you one guy that's shaking in his boots right now is Justin Timberlake.
You know, what's crazy is like that, hearing that they're doing a document or a biopic on Britney Spears, it makes me feel so old, because I remember when she first came out, I think it might have been 1996 or 97, or it might have been 98, but it was one of those 3 years. And like, I remember her first song, and then I remember the controversy with Justin Timberlake and the controversy with her family that, with the, what was the controversy?
Her dad and them still had control of all of her stuff, and and the mental breakdown. Like, people use the reference of, I feel like Britney in 2006 or 2007 Britney, because she had a mental breakdown.
When she shaved her head. went crazy.
But it's I feel sorry for Brittany. I do. The stuff that she's going through. You could tell she's got something wrong with her. But when you take and look, I've watched documentaries of the way she grew up. I cannot wait to watch this biopic. But she's never really like people's used her throughout her whole career.
Oh, even the backup dancer that she.
Yeah.
Yeah. How he was still living off of her.
Yep. That's insane. And then Justin, what was the other guy she married? Justin Federer.
Kevin Federline.
Yeah, Kevin Federline.
Yeah, that was a backup dancer.
Yeah, and
there was another person I think as well.
So also Richard Simmons is coming out with a biopic. He is passed away, but his family is. But there's some controversy because he had been writing this actor, and he told this actor that he wanted him to play him in his biopic. Now, the actor that is saying that Richard Simmons wrote him is the person that I think would be the best possible person to play Richard Simmons. If you could look at Richard Simmons right there, and you could think of any actor.
Hold on, I'll tell you. I've got one.
No, I'm asking you. Tell me who you think an actor without Googling or any of that.
I don't know his name. I can show you a picture of him, but I don't know.
What's he look like?
He looks just like him. He played in I think he played in Superbad. Or he played, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Go ahead then.
Yeah, let me find him. This guy right here. What is his name? Michael Cera, maybe?
Michael Cera?
Yeah, I can see.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
But the correct answer is the one that said he should play, and that's Pauly Shore.
The guy from Pauly Shore.
You don't remember Pauly Shore from the 90s? That was in what was Son-in-Law and
wasn't he big on MTV as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That guy. Yeah, I remember him.
No, that ain't him, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's him nowadays.
He looks different now compared to back then.
Yeah. But now his family, Richard Simmons' family, is saying that wasn't Richard Simmons that was writing him. Yeah, and saying that somebody else had Richard Simmons' phone. So he's got all these texts from Richard Simmons, and his family saying that was somebody else writing Pauly Shore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be intrigued, but Pauly Shore should get that Richard Simmons role because in his heyday, he looked a lot like Richard Simmons.
Yeah, he'd be a perfect choice.
So John Relly, Glenn Ernest the second says, who's John Relly?
I'm not sure.
Look that up for us. I want to see him.
But Glenn, he was actually Belfry alumni.
Yeah, Hoss.
Yeah. We had class together. He's a really good dude.
Yeah, Hoss.
He was the kicker.
Yep.
He was in school.
Biggest kicker ever.
Yeah, he was very accurate.
Yep. Now Mike Mullen says nobody got to see him play last year, but watch out for Brady Johnson. Mike, I agree 100%. Brady Johnson is probably the biggest hidden. Oh yeah. That would be a good one, Glenn. But going back to Brady Johnson, listen, I watched Brady Johnson in 7-on-7. He's got Jonah Bartley. He's got the big kid, Cadence or the Stamper kid. This Brady Johnson will be the dark horse, to be the best quarterback in the mountains. This kid has a cannon. He can kill you with his feet. I mean, he's got speed upon speed. He's coming off injuries. That's the only thing that I worry about with him. Is he 100% healthy? Well, any of them injuries, because every time he's turned around, this kid's had the worst luck I've ever seen. Like he gets hurt, and then he comes back and then he gets hurt again. If he could stay healthy, Shelby Valley has a superstar on their hands in Brady Johnson. This kid is a stud.
I can't wait to see him play this season if he, like you said, if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, so definitely going to be interesting there. The JJ also, we got some stories coming in. Don't know if you've seen it, but some first before we go off the celebrities, Michael Jackson ended up dying 15 years ago.
Yeah.
15 years ago today.
It was
So,
today,
yeah.
August the 20th. Yeah. It was
August 2nd, what it said on Facebook.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
I remember that.
He was 50 years old. I remember that day like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame, but he was a performer, and to perform the way that he performed, he had to be doped up, like there's no, and I say that, I don't mean like high as a kite, but I'm saying he had to be on pain medication, morphine, because there's nobody, even at that age, like he can move better than, Pharrell or any of them, the young cats.
Absolutely.
This dude
might give Chris Brown a run for his money.
Yeah. But, I will say this in today's world, and I do not mean this in a bad way. So in today's world, it's never good that we lose a person in life.
Mm-hmm.
But in today's world, with the way stuff are coming out, like with Bill Cosby and all that, I really worried about where Michael Jackson's legacy would have went if he was still alive.
I mean, it's interesting because even like with all of this stuff that people try to accuse him of, there were so many people that just understood like he never had a childhood.
Yeah.
Like from the age of 5 years old or maybe 6 years old, like he was always in the spotlight. Like his dad always had him practicing dance moves and going to shows and going to concerts and stuff. So all this stuff that he did, like building a Neverland Ranch, or like he did that because he never had any kind of childhood at all. And he's probably the only person that you could look at and be like, you know what? I get it. I really get why.
Well, I mean, I don't get if the accusations are true with the kids and stuff, but that's up. Like I mean, some people say it's true. Some people said he just loved kids. And so I don't know whether that's true or not. But you really worried though if he was still alive, where the legacy would be with all the technology today, where they come back with finding phone calls and stuff magically popping up.
Yeah.
But, in my mind, the greatest performer of all time.
He's the one person I would have loved to have seen live. And I really, like I was telling you earlier, I really can't wait till they do that biopic next year.
Yeah.
And his nephew's actually going to be playing him.
What'd you call it? Biopic?
Biopic.
Yeah. The Jeremy Pinson says, I move like that without anything. Jeremy, you could time Jeremy with a sundial, Jeremy, well, and to his credit, Jeremy had a bad injury in high school that took him out. He ended up losing a couple of years of high school, but Jeremy would have been one of the best. He was so fundamental, really good basketball player.
You said he was a 4.
Yeah. And he was ahead of his time because he could step out and he could hit that mid-range jumper. He's not quite as good a shooter as his brother Freddie was, but he could step out and knock that down. But injuries definitely plagued his career. He was a lot like Brady Johnson.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, guys, Punk's Tires is your place for all your tire needs. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We still got a lot to talk about. Come right back and join us here on the Startup Morning Show. JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy. Pass, bring them to Hall & Jones Funeral Home in Burgee, Kentucky. We let you grieve in peace instead of worrying about a heavy financial burden of burying a loved one. Here at Hall & Jones, we have multiple chapels that can accommodate any size family. We look forward to helping you and your family here at Hall & Jones.
Incorporated Little Flower Clinic announcing help needed. We're seeking donations of gift cards to help us make a difference for our homeless and at-risk patients. Gift cards will be used for new clothing, new underwear, and personal hygiene items. If you're interested in helping, please contact us. Call Kendra Cole at 606-487-9505, extension 342, or mail your gift cards to Little Flower Clinic, 279 East Main Street, Hazard, Kentucky, 41701.
Back here on the Startup Morning Show, JJ Pruitt, Darryl McCoy coming at you here, JJ. We got a celebrity birthday come in to us, just sent in via email, JJ.
Whose birthday is it?
Do you know this lovely couple?
That looks like the wonderful Whites of West Virginia, maybe?
That is Jesco White, the
Really?
Dancing Outlaw. Happy
wow.
birthday, Jesco.
Happy birthday.
Yep. So the
Really good movie, by the way.
yeah, famous Boone County. So happy birthday to Jesco White. JJ, as we move on, Apple iOS is coming out with technology to where you can record phone calls. What's your thoughts?
They did what again?
They're coming out with technology where you can record your phone calls.
Oh wow. I mean, that's AI it's getting scary, the technology.
Now you read into this, right?
Yeah. And for me personally, it's like what
I mean, how is it? Do you got to tell people that you're recording them? Or?
Yeah, it gives you a notification. It gives the person that you're on the phone with a notification that this call is being recorded.
So kind of like Snapchat, when you screenshot of something and it tells you.
Mm-hmm. So they give you a heads up to let you know that you're being recorded. But even then, it's
well, how many people is abbreviated and saying stuff on the phone? Maybe drunk or under the influence and saying something and don't even see that notification pop up. And
I think that a lot of people are going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
I won't be one of them, but a lot of people will.
I think they are resuming this month. Said Kate Zimmerman football is Jeremy Pinson. Really, Kate Zimmerman says well, I think we all know Jeremy. The one thing he is quick at is tire changing.
Yeah, that man knows tires.
He does. So as we go on, Dickie Tiller. Dickie Tiller is a famous radio host for the Russell Red Devils. He's a legend there. Calls a lot of the Russell sports up in the area. Mm-hmm. The bad things coming out about Dickie Tiller.
What's going on?
Dickie Tiller was arrested in Bourbon County. Ashland man and local radio personality was arrested by the Bourbon County Sheriff's Department on Tuesday for allegedly sexually abusing a child.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Dickie Tiller, 53, is charged with a sole count of first-degree sexual abuse of a minor under the age of 18. According to the court documents, Tiller is accused of using his position as the victim's church pastor to encourage the minor child to, well, this is a little graphic, but to do something in front of him. And Tiller is also accused of touching the minor's privates during the incident allegedly occurring on May 25th in Bourbon County. Tiller is the former pastor at Liberty Missionary Baptist Church in Cannonsburg. Social media pages associated with Tiller indicates he has the First Priority America, a nonprofit supporting club for Christian students. Tiller's social media employment history also mentions Tiller's lengthy sports broadcasting position at Cool Hits 106.7, an Ashland-based radio station providing coverage and sporting events throughout the 16th region. He also worked in sales at Cool Hits. He is currently suspended without pay indefinitely. Good. So, that's something, JJ, let me ask you something. And this is a little serious topic here. Why is like child molesting and stuff like that so closely associated with pastors and particularly the Catholics, are always associated with it? Why is them two go hand in hand? Why is there so many preachers get caught up in stuff like this?
That's a really good question. I actually have 3 people in my family that are preachers, so it bothers me because I know so many good pastors.
Oh yeah,
and there's always,
99% of them are good.
Yeah, but it is disturbing that you hear these stories about pastors specifically. I don't know if they
comes out a lot.
Yeah, like I don't know if you've ever seen that film Spotlight.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another example, but I don't know if it's easier for them not to get caught, or if it's easier to brainwash people, or if it's easier to target people.
Yeah.
That's the only theory that I have. Or if they,
Jason Lance said it perfect here. He said they're the easiest people to trust.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it, I honestly, and Dickie Tiller's in Jason Lance's area up there. He lives in the Ashland area. So, I guess, and it's even worse that he was around kids, because you never know what could have popped up. But, the situation, like, I think a lot of it is that these pastors, a lot of them grow up sheltered, and a lot of them, they don't have the experiences in high school, with girls or women that others do. And then, but they feel, and the bad part is it's normally with boys, and I think a lot of it is, where they grow up sheltered and not around women and stuff, that, it's just something that I don't know, man. I don't
like you.
Yeah, we'll go in.
I think Jason said it best: the easiest people to trust.
Yeah, that's why it happens, because these parents trust the kids with them.
Yeah.
That's why it happens. But I just think these people grow up sheltered, and and then they're forced to do something that they particularly may not want to do, and that's marry a woman
or something.
Yeah. And then when they marry a woman, they're never truly the people that they, I guess,
woman thinks that they are.
Yeah, and so I just, it's tough, but I really do hate that it's associated with that, because it happens all the time in the Catholic world. You see it all the time, and it just and we're not saying like this is a rogue incident. You don't see it as much with like Southern Baptists and preachers around here.
But
you do see it, but not as much.
A bad name,
yeah, it does. But moving on here, JJ, as we move on, pop this up. Darren Peterson chooses his top 8. Darren Peterson, number 1 guard in the 2025 class. You guys get to watch him every game exclusively here on the D&D Sports Network, as we are the exclusive provider for Huntington Prep games. Darren Peterson has narrowed his top 8 to Washington, Kansas, Arizona State, Louisville, Kentucky, USC, Kansas State, and Ohio State.
Can we make a bet on which team we think he's going to choose? Or
let's do it.
Okay. I'm thinking from a financial standpoint and also for prestige, I'm either going to go with the University of Kentucky or USC. Is that USC? Or
yep,
is that
that's USC.
Yeah, because it's in California. And, there may be more opportunities to make money, like from an NIL standpoint.
I'll bet you.
Okay, who you got?
I got Ohio State or Kansas.
I was going to say
with a dark horse of Washington.
I was going to say Kansas, possibly because of it's a very traditional school as well.
Yeah.
They're a well-known basketball school, but I'm thinking for the money, I got to go.
Here's why.
Okay,
Kansas is the biggest NIL school in America right now. They're giving more money than anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. So Kansas combined with that, and I will tell you this. I know Darren pretty well. Like I got a good relationship with him and his family, and his coach and the owner, Huntington Prep. I think Darren wants to be in Lexington at UK.
Really?
Yeah. I just don't think that the NIL dollars will line up for him.
So basically, from a dollar standpoint, are you thinking maybe Kansas or USC?
No, I'm thinking Kansas. Ohio State is the one that is. They're the ones that's pushing him really hard, because that's his home town. He's from the same town as LeBron.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, Akron.
Yep. He's from Akron. So, Ohio State, they're coming up. They are unloading the Brinks truck for him. Like they want this kid, and they are willing to spend every NIL dollar they got to get this kid. And it's huge because it could bring Ohio State basketball back. He's that kind of kid. said, or probably USC, since you only have to average 4 points a game to go pro. That's true, Jason Lance. That's true. You know, undoubtedly they got some pull. The rest of them don't. But then Kansas, you know, I think Kansas is the favorite right now. I think that, you know, Kansas is a premier program. I think they are the biggest NIL in the business right now. I think he can get more money there as far as like elite programs that can give the money. Now, Washington is the dark horse because Washington has some big time donors, and they'll have a donor that will step up and match probably anything that the other ones can give. But the thing is, you go to Washington, who's really going to care about you? You know, and there's not going to be talent around you. Now, again, I do know he wants to be in Lexington, but at the end of the day, dollars make sense, and I don't know if Kentucky can give him the money that he's looking for.
I would imagine. I mean, they're like one of the big, like most prestigious schools, so I would.
No, Kentucky's NIL ain't nowhere near what Kansas and all them are. You know, it's not. Kentucky gets a lot of money. You know, believe it or not, Kentucky's a basketball school, but, you know, football, they probably got more NIL in football.
Really?
Yeah, they probably got more NIL money in football. Now that Pope's there, they're coming back in basketball. These big boosters are. But Darren Peterson, it's and the big thing is the Crafts. Joe Kraft is the biggest booster, and him and Calipari didn't have a great relationship, so he wasn't giving the money that he normally does to the basketball team. You know, most of it's going to football. But when you take a look, Darren Peterson, that top 8 right there, I just think that at the end of the day, Darren Peterson, you know, wants to be in Kentucky. I think his family wants him there. I think the people at Huntington Prep want him at Kentucky. But I don't think the dollars will make sense. I think he will end up at Kansas, Ohio State, or Washington. And it's interesting because he took Arkansas and Calipari out of his top 10.
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, they didn't make the top 8. So that's huge. You know, right now, Darren Peterson and the kid we had on the other day, Jasper Johnson, are the 2 top guards in the class.
And Jasper, he's the one that decided to play with that other league.
Yeah, he'll be playing with Overtime Elite.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I wish Darren the best. You know, Darren, you know, it's all going to come down to NIL. You know, and Darren Peterson was the youngest kid to ever sign a shoe deal with Adidas. You know, so he signed a deal with Adidas, and then he's having a documentary made about him right now. So this kid, you know, he's got all the LeBron hype behind him, you know, but, you know, I still think at the end of the day, money is the biggest decision with it. He wants to win, but I also think that money is a big part of it.
I do. The one thing that I like is, you know, for these kids out there that, because I know so many people that have had scholarships and, you know, they got injured and they weren't able to finish out school because they couldn't afford it.
That's what I'm saying. If he gets hurt.
If there's one good thing about the NIL, it's that it gives these kids, you know, it gives them an opportunity to make a little bit to give them some sort of security where they can further their education in the future if, you know, something doesn't work out.
I get it. You know, and I'm not saying like, you know, to Darren, it's not. If you talk to Darren, it's all about winning games. But, you know, like people around him are making smart decisions for him, you know, and they're like, if something happens and he gets hurt, then we want to make sure we capitalize on his fame and his talent right now. Absolutely. That way he's took care of the rest of his life. Yeah. So I understand it. Absolutely. Jason Lance says, don't count out the U of L. They're an Adidas school. I'll be honest with you, Jason. I don't think there's a chance that U of L gets Darren Peterson. I just don't think that the money is there. Now, that is interesting, but the thing is that he only signed a 1-year Adidas deal. So, you know, like when it comes time to pick a college, that won't necessarily be with you. So, but there's still that connection there. You know, listen, if he don't go to Kentucky, I want him at Louisville, you know, and I'm a Kentucky fan, but, you know, keep him in state. Yeah. I want him near, you know, I mean, Darren, you know, he's done us a lot of favors, and, you know, I would love to keep him around so I can still cover him on a regular basis. So as we're moving on, JJ, U.S. Olympic team plays at 11:15 Saturday morning. Plays Puerto Rico is the next game, 11:15. Does U.S. drop a game to Puerto Rico?
I think if they were going to drop any game for now, it would have been the Sudan team. I don't think Puerto Rico will have enough.
Okay, let me ask you this. Democratic Party, Kamala Harris. Trump has 50 Cent, Kid Rock. Kamala Harris has Megan Thee Stallion.
I mean, I'm a Megan fan, but I'm not sure if that's the appropriate one for.
Did you see the concert
that
she put on at the Democratic National Convention?
I can't say that I did. Do you have a clip?
I do not have the clip. I got it, but I ain't got it loaded up. But the guys, go look it up. Megan Thee Stallion at the DNC.
I mean, Kid Rock, he's all about, like, most of his themes is, American. I'm an American.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent, it makes sense. Many men wish
Yeah.
death upon me and him. But, like, what is she going to perform?
Well, I don't know what song that was because I'm not hip enough to know Megan Thee Stallion and what all her music is. But, it not only when you watched the concert, it was horrible. Like, it was the sound, the tune, like you could tell she needed auto tune or she needed something because it was bad. But, she had like a cut off shirt. She was in like a suit. It just, I don't think Kamala Harris right now, I really think, they always told Trump, act more presidential.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kamala Harris, when you see everything coming out, nothing about her is presidential.
I mean, I think when they tell him to act more presidential, it's like, just don't say anything outlandish. Like, if somebody has something negative to say about you, just let them say it. Let your performance, let your, what you're doing for the country, just let that do the talking.
Well, it's coming out. I didn't know Kamala Harris had a 10-year, a decade-long relationship with Willie Brown.
I don't even know who that is. Is he somebody famous or?
Yeah, I'll let you Google him. But he, as you sit here, Kamala Harris, she's coming out. A lot of her, stories are coming out in the past.
So I guess it just goes to show, like, Trump isn't the only one with the past.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. And listen, we talked about double standards the other day.
Yeah.
To me, I'm wrong in this. I'll admit I'm wrong, but I got a double standard. Trump did sleep with a porn star. Is what they say, but allegedly, yeah, allegedly. But I don't know why the double standards there, but it is. And you take a look at the stuff that she done. Younger, and you look at her different. It shouldn't be that way. And I'm wrong in that, but there is that double standard by most Americans. So, I think that's really going to hurt her in this election. But, when you look at the money she's raising right now, it's insane. Like, you're seeing her break records upon records. You're like, is there any way her raising this kind of money? Is she actually going to have a chance to lose this election?
So what are they going to do with all of this money? Like, they just more commercials, more advertisement? I mean,
yeah, that's what it'll be. It'll be more advertising, more commercials. Like they'll go and do speeches, so they'll buy 5-star dinners for everybody that comes and supports her, and so it's pretty much buying an election.
If I was going to buy an election, honestly, I would take that kind of money and I would pay. I would try my best to pay, like, some of these big YouTube influencers. Like, you look at a guy like Mr. Beast that has like 100 million subscribers. Yeah. I would invest my money into that guy because every one of his videos can get 50, 60 million views at a time. So that's where I would use all of my money. I mean, probably would be able to save it.
Or what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name that's like a male chauvinist on Twitter that people love to hate? Is it Andrew Tate? Is that his name?
Yeah, the Tate dude.
Yeah. But I don't know. I just think right now, Trump is the breath of fresh air we need. And I don't think we need Megan Thee Stallion at a Democratic National Convention. You know, we need to know, you know, the stuff that's going on. I want to hear her topics. You know, I've still not heard that yet. You know, I want to see. You know, I know Trump right now. It's I think it's up to him whether they actually have a debate. You know, and you know, I wish Trump would debate her, but you know,
I don't think he needs to. I think that, you know,
I think he needs to, because I think Americans need to hear it. You know, Americans need to hear.
I mean, I don't think he has to win, but
no,
I mean,
he don't.
Yeah,
He don't have to win.
Just needing to, so people can hear what you have to say.
JJ, Sheho Atani's bookmaker pleads guilty in gambling case tied to baseball star Sheho Atani's ex-interpreter. Now, I don't know if you are familiar with this case, but Sheho Atani's interpreter basically took money from Sheho Atani and ended up gambling it away. Now, they've been a lot of debate at whether it was actually Sheho Atani gambling and blamed it on the interpreter, or if the interpreter is covering up for Sheho Atani, or if it actually happened. But either way, now the bookmaker, you can guarantee he's mad, because if none of that would have happened, he would probably still be doing his thing.
Well, from what I saw, he confessed to stealing almost $17 million. And his bets that he was doing each and every day averaged like between $11,000 to $29,000 per bet. And he didn't win very many of them.
No.
He was losing a lot of them.
He was bad.
Yeah, he might have been the worst ever.
Well, just like that's bad news, can I give you some good news?
Okay.
All right. I'm going to take you back. Football season. Listen, one of our viewers said it's football season. I agree.
Yeah.
So let me give you something to get you ready for football season. Something from our good friend, the late Jim Matney. I always like to play this speech as we head into football season.
Have made believers out of a lot of people for a lot of years. Now, my question to you guys is, what are we going to do this year? Are we going to carry it on? Are we going to carry on what we believe in? We believe in the mountain way of life. We believe in being up these hollows and being hillbillies and getting in these trucks and going hunting and fishing. This is who we are. And the rest of the nation makes fun of us. But it's a funny thing to me that every time anybody retires in a city, you know where they want to come live? They want to come live in the country. They want to get them a house up a hollow somewhere and live our life. And I'm glad to have them. We are who we are. We're boys from the mountains, from the hollows, from the small towns. Don't you let anybody come in here, especially from a big city, be able to walk out of here thinking that they're better people than you are.
It can be chill bumps.
Chill
bumps just now.
I got them too, man. Jim Matney he was one of the best men you'll ever meet. You know, him and Philip Haywood are two legends here in the mountains. Jim was actually my landlord when he passed away, and you know, just a guy with a heart of gold. You know, like, I mean, one of the best men. He was rough. He was tough. You know, when you talked to him, like, you know, you felt more of a man when you was in his presence. You know, I mean, you shake his hand, it was a handshake. You know, it was even in the wrestling, like Jim Matney. He was a true mountain treasure, and I'm getting chills talking about him here. But that speech is something that I play at least 2-3 times a year. You know, I dearly miss that man. A great man. You know, earlier in our career, you know, he many times sat down with Jim and he gave me advice. You know, just a great person and dearly missed here in the mountains. But, you know, if that speech don't get you ready for football season, I don't know what does.
I never even played football, but I put on some pads for him.
Yeah, there Absolutely. You go. So and listen, best wrestling coach ever in the mountains.
The wrestling coach as well?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, his wrestlers was a different breed. So, JJ, as we move on here, we got a few more topics to discuss as we look. Kansas woman suing a Kansas hospital because they couldn't perform her abortion because the nurses was arguing about politics.
Jesus, that's one of those things you got to keep that at home. Don't take that to work with you. Politics. I mean, that's.
Now you read into this. Is abortion is legal in Kansas, right?
Yeah. And it's like if it's legal and you're allowed to do it, it's like don't
That's a topic that I try to stay away from at times because you're never going to come out right on it. You're going to have some people that don't like you on it, some people that does.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I am. I mean, I think you and I had that debate like maybe almost a month ago about what
but I don't hide from questions either, and at the end of the day, I think that abortion is something that listen, to each their own, but I don't like abortion, but I do see cases that it could be, like, listen, if you're raped and stuff, it's tough because you don't want that victim to have to live that every day. But I would say, we're not gods, it's not up to us to judge, have the kid give it up for adoption, or something like that. I would say that. But then again, if it's a family member, I don't know what I would think, and then, but the one thing that I would is if the doctor comes and is like, listen, this kid is going to be a vegetable. They're not going to have any kind of quality of life. Like, he's going to lay there and suffer. Then I could see in that case. But other than that, it's hard. It's hard to take up for it. But either way, this story right here, this woman, she'll get a load of money out of this, because abortion is legal in Kansas. And undoubtedly, the two nurses that was supposed to prep her and get her ready for surgery was arguing over politics why this was going on. And she ended up not giving an abortion. They ended up not being able to give her the abortion. So, she's now, in a spot where, she, now does she have to go home? Like, when you go have an abortion as a woman, you have to get your nerves up. You have to go do that. Like you're like, okay, let's do it, and then now she has to go home, rethink it again. And, so that's a tough situation.
And that's what a lot of those doctors, they want to do. They want you to come in and sit down and have like a counseling session. It's like, look, if I tell you I want to do it, like, just
and Pam Stepp says it's murder, plain and simple, and that's why I don't like it. I think at the end of the day. But let me ask you, Pam, in that situation I just said, if a doctor comes in and says, listen, your child is not going to have any quality of life, they're going to lay there, they're going to be a vegetable their entire life, and not only are they going to be vegetables, they're going to be in pain every day. I mean, I don't know. I say that, even in that, I still question myself because I'm a believer in God. I believe that miracles can happen. So.
And what do you say to somebody that's a 13 or 14-year-old victim?
Yeah.
That, like, what do you say to that individual right there? It's just like,
well, I mean, just like the Dutch volleyball player tying it to the Olympics, and that's the other thing, Pam, I mean, I agree with you more than I disagree with you, Pam. But the Dutch volleyball star that met the girl, when he was 19, raped a 12-year-old and made her go to the morning after place. I mean, it's just a tough situation. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that's like I said, it's the beauty of America. We can agree to disagree on our opinions. And
guys, a lot of you people in high schools, and you'll see this, JJ, when you go around high schools, you got to get VPNs. VPN is it hides your IP address. So you can bypass certain security walls. So come out top list of VPNs. The number one VPN in 2024 is called Tunnel Bear. The second, Hide Me. Third, Tour Guard. Fourth, Private Internet Access. Those are the top 4 VPNs for anyone wanting to, at your local high school, get on the internet.
I use ExpressVPN, but whenever I was in high school, I used this Tor.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that I used. Oh, my teacher, she hated that. It's like, but you know, there used to be websites you could go to, like hidemyipaddress.com,
Yeah.
but you know, it's changed a little bit now.
JJ, U.S. rowing team wins their first rowing gold medal since 1960.
Oh wow! So that's 54 years.
54 years. So
or 64 years. 50 or 6 since 1960. 70, 80, 90.
Since 1960, yeah.
70,
so
80, 90, 2000.
64 years.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that we're not in the 19th century anymore.
So, congratulations to these guys. That's actually a sport that I like watching.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I like the overview that they give and where you can see exactly where they're at. I like that sport, but congratulations.
How much shape do you think you got to be in to do that?
Oh, insane.
I agree with you.
Only person I know could do that's Barry Crum. Barry Crum, he completes in them Ironman events all the time around here. Mm-hmm. It would take a heck of a man to compete in that. Now, let's take a look at the medal count, JJ. Right now, U.S., few more gold medals overnight. Now they sit at 9 gold medals. They sit 3 behind China. I told you they'd catch up and pass them. Now U.S. still leads the total medal count with 39. China has 26. France with 28, and Great Britain has 23.
So for me personally, I'm all about the gold medals. But if there's one medal that I would say that's the equivalent of a gold medal, would be that silver one that shooter got, because he didn't have the same equipment as everybody else. But for me, it's like we gotta get past 12. You know, it's nice to have 39 medals, and but at the end of the day, it's all about the goals, just like you're putting on right now.
Yeah,
we're winners.
And we're winners, JJ. We're winners on the startup show.
Absolutely.
And then, JJ, also want to remind people, Saturday, want to ask everybody, please come out and join us in Martin County as the OPB Swish back in action, baby. Gastonia Greyhounds coming to town. Carla Booth, Michaela Stacy, Dina Darryl, Deja Thornton. These girls, Coach Weffenstadt, they're ready. They come off a road trip where they went 1-1. They're going to be honoring Robin Newsom at halftime. Robin Newsom will be honored for the growth in women's sports and everything that she puts forth. She's a legend, a Hall of Famer, literally a walking Hall of Famer, Kentucky Hall of Fame and the Basketball Hall of Fame. But this is going to be a special day in Inez. We ask everybody to come out and join us, support the OPB Swish, Carla Booth and crew, as they go to work against Gastonia to try to take, and if they get a win here, they'll have a winning record. It will move them to 3-2. They're 2-2 on the season right now. Everybody, they need your support. Please come out, support them, flood the gymnasium. We need to keep this in the mountains. What else do you got to do? It's Saturday. Come watch the OPB Swish.
And I think they're going to put on a good performance on their home court this time around. I mean, the last time they put up a solid performance, but they were just up against a team that did the unthinkable and shot 80% from the three-point line. I mean,
84%.
Was 84?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All right, guys. JJ Pruitt and Darryl McCoy, we're sitting here. We've got to go. We got a busy day. JJ will have media days coming at you, so make sure you guys tune in to the D&D Sports Network all day, get to know some mountain football talent. And, guys, we will be back here bright and early, 8 a.m., Monday morning. So we hope you guys enjoy starting your mornings with us. We hope you learned a little bit today. Enjoyed the interview with Ethan Cummings. And JJ, good weekend, man.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it.
All right, guys, till next time.